Hey, folks, this is Rabble Rousing Rich Bergeron. All right. Well, let's see what we got here. Hopefully, everything works out on the recording this week. Last week was a little bit of a technical difficulty situation, so we apologize to Ken Shamrock, but we're going to get that fixed. So we got a quality interview anyway out of it. It's a good thing we only did 25 minutes, but I'm just going to dub in my questions after the fact, and we'll fix that up for all our big fans. But I don't feel as bad as Ricky Hatton feels about his big incident last week. He actually paid 800 British pounds for a steak. He was drunk the other night. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. So, yeah, let me find it here. At a Kobe steak. I guess they're pretty popular. 800-pound steak. And talk about a hangover. I look over £1,000, $1,000. So yeah, yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of this has happened in Greece, I guess. There's a lot of restaurants that have this tactic of ripping people off, recognizing they're tourists. So obviously they saw the gold watch he was wearing. Uh, he says in his Instagram post of the steak that cost so much money. Wow, we'll start the diet tomorrow then, shall we? This could be another war. Uh, big meal. 1,927 whatever euros were racked up. That was Hatton's bill. So he, waking up the next day, the ribeye itself, the steak itself, was $920 or euros, and then the friggin' champagne was $490. So it's like twice the amount of the champagne almost. Uh, yeah. 1,927 euros. So he puts the bill up there on his Instagram page, and he's making fun of himself, obviously, here. What does he write? Come on. Just woke up this morning in a puddle of fucking tears. That's what you get for being a fat, greedy little shit. So, yeah, there you go. That's Ricky Hatton. That's what he's doing in retirement. Now, this is kind of a funny one. Um, the headline is Bruce Lee wannabe breaks bricks in training and gets his face broken in 12 seconds in a fight. Uh, so I don't know how this happened, but somebody obviously was thinking they were tougher than they were at the fight. Usually happens that way. Anyway, sorry, my computer's taking forever tonight. Yeah, everything's taking forever. I guess I got too much shit running. All right, we're gonna do that one in a minute. Eddie Hearn, big promoter. Okay, I'm sure you guys have heard of him, boxing promoter, right? So Eddie is promoting Matchroom Boxing as his company. And of course, Dana White, we talked about last week, he's got some big plans for boxing, thinks he can solve all these tricks of the trade and, use them to his advantage and, solve all the problems out there and make everybody happy. But the promoters are starting to tell him otherwise. And Eddie Hearn's one of them. Um, he said it's the sport and the politics. Well, White said this. It's the sport and the politics in the sport, and it has always been that way. And if somebody doesn't change it, it's always going to be that way. So, Eddie Hearn had some stuff to say. Let's get to it here. Give me Eddie Hearn quotes. Okay. He says, I think the difference is he's going to find it very different in boxing compared to UFC. It's not a sport you can go into. Uh, well, loading all the damn graphics. It's not a sport you can go into and dominate the fighters, control the fighters, get them to sign contracts to fight ultimately whoever they're told to fight, which is the UFC model. So there's a big dig right there. You cannot boss boxers around, is what he's saying. So he's going to have to change the way he does business because he likes to be the big boss man. Eddie added, one of the reasons I think the UFC does so well is because fighters really are told which fights they are taking. That's not the way in boxing. In boxing, the fighters tend to have much more control over their career. Of course, there are a number of promoters, there are a number of networks who are involved, so there's a huge amount of politics in the sport of boxing, which is frustrating sometimes. I think that's something that's actually going to frustrate Dana White. So I would love him to have a go at that because I think the more promoters, the more investment, the more people making an effort to make the sport great, the better. So he's more than welcome, but I don't think he'll have the same kind of model as the UFC. Yeah, good luck with that, Dana. See how that goes for you. But yeah, I really don't think it's going to be as easy as he makes it sound for him to even make the transition and for him to be even legally accepted into boxing and setting up boxing matches under the UFC or Zuffa banner or whatever he's going to do. It's yeah, Zuffa boxing. Zuffa boxing. Oh yeah, and then finally there's going to be a big announcement. We're going to have somebody big run it, but we haven't heard yet. Okay. Okay, so this guy who breaks bricks and has MMA training videos, 12-second knockout in the real fight. In his trash talking video, he said, "I will break you like I broke this brick," and he is a discipline called Wing Chun. It's real, the Wing Chun discipline. That's his discipline. Now, this article says, in Enter the Dragon, Bruce Lee uttered the famous words, boards don't hit back, but someone forgot to tell a Chinese Wing Chun master who seemingly idolizes the Hong Kong martial arts legend. Tan Long went viral this week for his 12-second knockout at the hands of Chinese MMA fighter Zhuan Wu, a friend of Zhu Zhaodong, who has made it his mission to expose fake kung fu. So, and of course, he had to wear the Game of Death star's iconic yellow jumpsuit with the wannabe Bruce Lee even trying one of his idol's trademark flying kicks at the start of the fight. So yeah, he made a fool of himself, and his training videos kind of show why he sucks at fighting. Anyway, so There you have it. Check that out if you can find it. 12-second knockout. His opponent did not fall for the yellow jumpsuit. Now, I know it's not really a politics or a financial show here, but the UFC was owned by the Fertitta brothers forever. Their station casinos now is in the news because of the feud with the union there, the culinary union. It's been going on for decades, but really flaring up recently, and especially because there's a Democratic election campaign coming through town, and they all love the unions. So now Fertitta brothers are starting to feel some kind of a backlash here. I think not necessarily just because of the union, but a lot of reasons. They just tend to buy big in advance and not think about the future, and they just spend all kinds of money on construction and development and expansion, and they don't, kind of pay attention to what they got. But, they spent $600+ million on renovating the Palms after they bought it. So now what do? Their stock is kind of going downhill because it's a publicly traded company. They sunk $42 million of their own family's money into buying more shares. I don't know what that's supposed to prove, except for you want to own more of the company that's going to tank. If you're not careful. But yeah, I don't know. It's crazy, crazy. So they basically own about 48%, I believe. I don't know, 41.2% of the entire company between the two brothers and their trusts, family trusts, and all that. But they bought the Palms for $312 million, and then $690 million property overhaul. For a casino that really isn't getting a lot of traffic. So it makes you wonder, And they're connected to that same Deutsche Bank that Trump's having trouble with, so one of those things. Got a bad history, that bank. Anyway, the big bank investment, I guess, the only thing that could save their asses, so to speak, would be if a major league team moved into the neighborhood. And coincidentally enough, there has been talk about some stadium plans in that neighborhood for such a thing, but nothing has been set in stone yet. So just an interesting sidelight from this week's news. Little Zion sucks angle for you. Fertittas. What are they up to? I guess I got to update. I got to do the whole article on that. I had a talk with the guys from the Financial Times a couple months ago. And they talked to me about 10 minutes and just never did anything with it. But everything I told them started to kind of come to fruition. But anyway, getting back to the fight game. We got Bellator 225 to talk about. I did not get to see it, but Meathead is, basically living up to his name, I guess. Yeah, Sergey Karatanov hit him in his meathead with TKO punches. 1 minute and 24 seconds into round 2, he was all done. Did you get to see that one, Tom?
I'm going to have to start taking points away. So it came out again in the second round, and Meathead seemed to have a complete mental breakdown. Yeah, because he was doing good. He was doing good. I think he won the first round, but he just lost it, and you could just tell that there was something wrong with that mouthpiece, and he couldn't seem to get back on track again. And then he ran into a couple punches in the knee, and that was the end of the fight. Unbelievable. I mean, of all the things I mean, I keep thinking one of these years I'll get to the point where I've seen it all, but I ain't there yet. I mean, how do you not get a mouthpiece that fits? How does this happen? How could this be? I mean, I know it can happen. Well, you have it in training, but I mean, you're a professional fighter. You get it custom made. Wow, some story. Ooh.
Well, I didn't get to see the Kovalev fight. I just caught the knockout on that. I mean, he got rocked pretty good in that fight. But then, as you saw, his opponent was progressively wearing down, and Kovalev knocked him out with a jab. It was a power jab, but it was still a jab. And then Saturday night, I tried to catch some of the fights. I got home from a festival kind of late, so I put what I could on, and they had 2 cards on. The FS1 card I didn't get to see at all. That was mostly mismatches, and then I caught a little bit of the zone, but unfortunately, not too much. I'm sorry. Oh. Had to walk on water. Wow. Talk about getting, a setup for your first fight. Wow. Huh.
He's he's the towering inferno, right? The towering and fascinating fight. Fascinating fighter. Love to watch him.
Um, I'm not, but I mean, I heard they're doing a good job. I mean, I haven't even really watched much WWE the last few months, just because it's been on the busy side. And I've been watching more casually than anything. But from what I've heard, everybody's been impressed with the AEW. And you know what? And the thing is, competition can create fresh ideas, and it can't hurt.
Oh, wow. Interesting fight. Yeah, I just don't think he ever recovered from that Lawler fight, and I think a lot of it was mental. Mm. Oh God, now what? No, I thought after, I mean, how many fights in a row has he lost? I thought he was cut. Didn't Dana say that was it for him? And he has another fight scheduled in the UFC, huh? God, what has he won anything in 10 years? Wow, amazing. Hmm. Yeah. I had a former pro boxer watch some of the bare knuckle stuff with me, and we watched the Malinaji fight against Loveb, our team, partner. And his first comment was, "How do you not get your hands damaged?" with no hand for. And I said, "Damn you! I wish you'd have talked to me before I had Ken on there. You know, we had Ken as our guest, and could have asked him about that. I mean, that was the." And he's talked to a few other boxers that said the same exact thing. They brought that up, and it was also curious because if you guys seen that Najee fight, Paulie has a style, not the hardest puncher, but a very good technician, and our team was more aggressive. And I think that maybe even the scoring's a little different because my boxing buddy was convinced Najee won it pretty easy, and the three judges disagreed with that. Have either one of you guys watched that fight?
I
Yeah, he had a chance to check it out, but yeah, because it was kind of they had different color on their wrist, and it was interesting. So they have like wrist protection, but nothing on just bare hands, and the ring is almost like a circle. Yeah, this is very different. Yeah, I think the rumor seems to be he's kind of hoping Cormier will retire and then Rumble will fight at heavyweight. So Stipe will have if that's the case, Stipe will have his work cut out for him against the big punchers, either Nagamu or Rumble Johnson. It'll be interesting to see Rumble at heavyweight. And at one time he was fighting at 170, if you can believe that. Well, what is the feud with Pavia and Dana? What's the issue there?
That's fine. Okay, that sounds good to me. I mean, it's, always when you get a holiday weekend, we're kind of light on the upcoming events, and wasn't a stellar week last week. So with boxing at least. Good. All right. Well, have a fantastic holiday weekend, and we'll talk soon.
All right, guys. Let's enjoy the fights.
All right, later.